All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a 2004 Mazda RX-8 GT. This car weighs 3,029 pounds, powered by a 1.3-liter rotary engine, pushing out 238 horsepower. We have a pretty extensive mod list, which you can find in the description. Notably, we have TC105X wheels, 18 by 9.5, wrapped in 265 Advan Apex tires. We have HKS Hipermax S Coilovers, RB intake, headers, and midpipe, HKS Hi-power catback, R1 concept slotted rotors, Project Mu B-Force pads, and let's see how this bad boy drives. Right off the bat, you guys know I'm gonna talk about, of course, the steering. This is the only hydraulic rack of the group, and oh my god, do I like a good hydraulic rack. I mean, what guy doesn't like a nice rack? The feedback on this car's steering is substantially better than both the S2000 and the BRZ. In terms of accuracy and precision, it's pretty similar, but the feedback is really where it shines. And it helps you inspire, it helps inspire confidence when you're pushing the car a little bit more. Coilovers, a little bit stiff for a road like this, but this road is a bit bumpy. Having this smaller wheel, this Sparco 330mm, is also a nice touch. It gives it a little bit of a heavier feel compared to the stock steering wheel, which I appreciate. It also feels faster because you have a smaller wheel, right, versus a larger wheel. Definitely helps with a sportier feel, sportier driving engagement. Another thing that's really interesting is how much more upright you are in this car. The driving position is not nearly as sporty, low, laid back as the S2000 or the BRZ. This feels much more upright. However, I do really like how the steering wheel comes out quite far. Not sure if that's due to the steering mods he's done, or if that's, or if even OEM it comes out quite far. But I feel like the steering wheel is close enough and my legs have enough room as well. In terms of the transmission, this is probably similar level to the BRZ in terms of how strong it is. It's not as tight and notchy as the S2000, but it is a very good transmission. Rolling through these gears is definitely a pleasure. That 9,000 RPM though, oh my god. I love me a high revving, naturally aspirated engine. And because it's a rotary, this thing is so smooth. So smooth. The Project Mu pads, they took a while to heat up. On the way up, there's a couple of points where I was like, wait, why is this car not stopping? So once you get some heat into them, stopping power is good, but the initial bite is a little bit lacking. There's a bit of travel in the brakes in the first centimeter or so where you don't feel anything at all. This car is the largest and the heaviest of the three. Only a couple 100 pounds heavier, but it definitely feels the largest too when you drive it. It handles its weight well, don't get me wrong, but it's not as tight and as nimble as the other two. Those are two-door coupes. This is a, I mean, would you call this a four-door with the suicide doors? Ooh, traction control. Should disable that. It's a little bit harder to heel toe in this car compared to the other two as well. I think the pedal positioning is not quite as ideal. The gas pedal is a little bit too far out when you're hitting on the brakes. Which is usually the opposite problem for most cars, where the gas pedal is too deep inset, but in this car it's the opposite. The transmission has a little bit too much lateral slop. I would say it's actually probably a little bit worse than the BRZ's shifter. I would say Honda S2000, then BRZ, then the RX-8 in terms of shifting. The heel toe is also not ideal. Having that double wishbone all around, because this does share a lot of the similar components to the NC Miata, which was the Miata of its era. You get a nice turn in, and while the suspension is stiff, this car has a higher center of gravity and it's heavier, and therefore you don't quite get the same nimble turn-in and level cornering from the other cars, the S2000 and the BRZ. In terms of power, the power holds this car back a little bit. Not as severe as something like an FRS, right? But this car would be a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit better balanced if it had a little bit more power. Now the S2000, I feel like that car is well balanced in the sense that you don't feel like the power or lack thereof is limiting it in any way. In this car, a little bit more top end power. I mean, after 6,000, you feel it come alive, but having a little more oomph would balance this car out slightly better. I love how rev happy this thing is and how immediate the throttle response is. But man, I'm loving this engine more than I thought I would. The rotary is so smooth. It sounds great. And given that it's a 2+2 and more practical than some other cars people compare it against, it's pretty well sorted. Definitely well sorted. You're not gonna have the same level of chassis dynamics and sharpness as a more dedicated sports car like the S2000 or similar. But for what this car is, I think they've really knocked it out of the park. I am very much impressed by it. So overall strengths of this car, the EPS is really strong in it. Transmission is good. It's not the strongest transmission, not the strongest gearbox, but I would say it's definitely enjoyable. It doesn't take anything away from the experience. Pedal box is a little bit lacking. The engine is a lot of fun. I mean, these rotaries though they have their own nuances, if you will. You have to be careful with them. But if you're willing to deal with the quirkiness of having a rotary engine and pre-mixing your fuel with some oil and the maintenance issues that may come up and possibly having to replace your motor, then this car is really something quite unique and underrated, I would say. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you guys in that next one.